I dreamed my dad was in trouble with the police for something he did, but what he did was never told. Then one cop, then suddenly about 9 cops showed up. About that time my uncle that had died a few years back pulled down the road. In my dream he saw the police and cut through the yard trying to avoid them. My one was standing on the front porch, so he stopped before he ran her over, and the police had him surrounded everywhere else. So then a police officer escorted him out of the car, then said, "Let's have us a talk." Quote. After that happened, him and the police officer went down the old cemetery road by my house. I was standing outside really curious as to what was going on, and why my dad was in trouble, and if my uncle was going to get in trouble or not. Then I heard a gunshot in the woods and the police officer came back, but my uncle didn't. About this time I was really mad, because I thought he might have taken my uncle out there and shot him, so I walked straight up to the police officer expecting him to pull his gun on me. I was going to try to beat him up, if he did. Then instead 2 other officers walked by his side to back him up. So I asked, "What happened to my uncle?" And the police acted like a smart aleck, just his attitude, and he said he was coming out of the woods. When I don't know, maybe he got lost. And I asked him to take me out to the woods to see my uncle, and my little sister asked one of the other officers to take her out there too, because she thought they may have murdered our uncle. So then me and my little sis and 2 officers went out in the woods. Once we got out of sight of everybody else, the 2 officers wanted to split up so we could find my uncle. They acted like, after we split up about 1 minute, I heard a gunshot where my sister was in the woods, and I knew the cops were taking us out there to kill us too. I turned to the cop that was behind me, and he pulled out his gun, and I hid behind a tree. He was shooting at me but missing from 5 feet, because I was squarely behind that tree. After he shot around 4 times and had to reload or fix his gun from jamming, I'm not sure which one. Then I stepped slightly out in the open and looked at him. I had a gunshot in my lower left stomach area, and I laughed and said, "Now all of my redneck cousins know and they'll kill you." Then I dropped in cool cellular phone, where he could see it, and it showed a message that I had sent to all of my friends out in the woods, telling them that the cops were trying to kill me and my sister, and they have killed my uncle. Then the cop had a scared face on him, because he knew everybody knew about what he was doing to us. Then he loaded his gun, and before he could point it at me, I laughed and fell off the edge of the cliff backwards on purpose so he couldn't shoot me anymore. I figured I could survive the fall more likely than him shooting me more, since the fall was only 12 feet. Then a long steep downhill roll. Then I awakened.